Shesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Look at this prayer once more. This prayer is in the Caitanya Caritamrita, as it's mentioned here. There's another place where this prayer is given. Do you remember?
There's another place. This prayer is written. That's what you say?
Yeah, in Srila Prabhupada's books, yes.
Same prayer.
Same prayer, yes. In the introduction to the Krishna book, the summary study of the 10th canto, so that's there. So I speculated perhaps about why, I don't know, but it could be because when Srila Prabhupada wrote the Krishna book, that was he began, for the first couple of years, he was mostly in the United States, then he went to India, but then traveling worldwide. And in this English transliteration, they have exclamation points after every Krishna, and also Rama and Raghava. So are there exclamation points in Bengali or Sanskrit? Does anybody know?
I don't think we have. No.
Okay, so this is very interesting. There's exclamation points after everyone. So what is it usually exclamation points denote?
Extreme
emphasis,
emotion.
positive.
Yes. So, there's Acharya Prabhu. Yes.
Hare Krishna. I don't think there's an exclamation mark, but the hey at the end is sort of an implied exclamation mark.
Yes.
Does that
Good
make
point.
sense?
Yes. We talked about hey last time.
Oh, okay. I missed last week.
That's
Sorry.
all right. That's all right. We because I was saying that in English language, hey tends to be a little bit casual and disrespectful even. Hey, Acharya. Hey, what's going on? Whereas here it's in the Sanskrit or Bengali, it's not, that doesn't have that connotation. So, but I agree with you. Yes, it's a more of a emotional appeal. Thank you. Yeah.
Can you go to the second stanza of Kirtan, the fourth line? If you see, everything has eight names or eight words, but the fourth one is a 9. That's why it was not falling under my singing meter.
Oh, okay.
Is it an error? One extra was given?
Not that I know of.
Everywhere there's 8. If you say Rakshamam, Krishna, 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 Rakshamam.
Oh, I see. There's the extra Krishna there. Yeah, it might be an error. Yes, you're right. I don't know. Well, I don't think it's that extra Krishna there in the original that you find.
Yeah. So okay. Just checking because it was not falling when I was singing in the meter.
Yeah. I got you. So sometimes I don't know where this is from. It might be from Krishna Kirtan songs, Krishna Kirtan songs. Yeah, some of the Krishna Kirtan songs are not exactly correct. Maybe we can point that out to the administrators there.
This one is from ISKCON Desire Tree.
Okay, yeah, ISKCON Desire Tree also. It's not always correct also. All right, just a couple of thoughts just there. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Sri Caitanya Caritamrita Madhya Lila, Chapter 1, Later Pastimes of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Nityananda Haridas Sribas Godadhar, Mukundo Jagadanando, Murari Bakreshwar.
All the Vaishnava associates of the Lord were present, including Nityananda Prabhu, Haridas Thakur, Srivas Thakur, Gadadhar Pandit, Mukunda, Jagadananda, Murari, and Vakreshwara.
সবার চরণে ধরি পরে দুই ভাই সবে বলে ধন্য তুমি পাইলে গোসাই.
In accordance with the instructions of Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu, the two brothers Rupa and Sanatan immediately touched the lotus feet of these Vaishnavas, who all became very happy and congratulated the two brothers for having received the mercy of the Lord. Purport. This behavior is indicative of real Vaishnavas. When they saw that Rupa and Sanatan were fortunate enough to receive the mercy of the Lord, they were so pleased that they all congratulated the two brothers. A jealous person in the dress of a Vaishnav is not at all happy to see the success of another Vaishnav in receiving the Lord's mercy. Unfortunately, in the age of Kali, there are many mundane persons in the dress of Vaishnavas, and Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur has described them as disciples of Kali. He says, Kali Chela. He indicates that there is another Vaishnav, a pseudo Vaishnav with tilak and on his nose and kanti beads around his neck. Such a pseudo Vaishnav associates with money and women and is jealous of successful Vaishnavas. Although passing for a Vaishnava, his only business is earning money in the dress of a Vaishnava. Bhaktivinoda Thakur therefore says that such pseudo Vaishnava is not a Vaishnava at all, but a disciple of Kali Yuga. A disciple of Kali cannot become an acharya by the decision of some high court. Mundane votes have no jurisdiction to elect a Vaishnava acharya. A Vaishnava acharya is self-effulgent, and there is no need for any court judgment. A false acharya may try to override a Vaishnava by a Hari court decision, but Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that he is nothing but a disciple of Kali Yuga. Om Agyana Timirantasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshuran Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Jena Bhutale Shayam Rupakada Maikyam Dadati Shapandantikam. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Advaita Gadadhar Shivas Adi Gaur Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Before speaking, I'd like to ask the blessings and permission of all devotees, but particularly those who are senior by age and or advancement in Krishna consciousness. Thank you. We are at the point where Lord Chaitanya has received Rupa and Sanatana Goswami, and they very feelingly prayed to Lord Chaitanya after coming to see him in the dark of night. And Lord Chaitanya then benedicted them by initiating them, changing their names from W. Akash and Shakar Malik to Rupa and Sanatan, and fully gave them his mercy. And the devotees, his associates, those who were associates, were so pleased, and under the instruction of Lord Chaitanya, perhaps they would have done it even without his instruction, but they gave their full congratulations and blessings to Rupa and Sanatan after their initiation by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And the two brothers under the instruction of Lord Chaitanya, touched the lotus feet of those devotees. We had a discussion before about touching the lotus feet of Vaishnavas, the spiritual master, etc. Under certain conditions, with his permission, one can do. Otherwise, one should be very cautious about taking or allowing someone to touch the feet, because by doing so, you accept the sinful reactions of that person. But here, the Lord Chaitanya himself is requesting the devotees requesting Rupa and Sanatana Goswami to touch their feet of those Vaishnavas, those venerable Vaishnavas who are all his associates, and they allow. Even there's a mention of Haridas Thakur. This is very interesting because usually when you read about Haridas Thakur in Lord Chaitanya's pastimes, Lord Chaitanya, said that Haridas Thakur is the Namacharya, but we don't see that Haridas Thakur is presenting himself as Namacharya or as an elevated devotee. Usually we see him talking about how he is fallen and coming from a Javana background. Therefore, he didn't go into the temple of Jagannath, even though he was Namacharya, and even though Advaita Acharya had recognized him as the topmost Brahmin in the Shraddha ceremony of his father. So, but here, Haridas Thakur, by the instruction of Lord Chaitanya, is having his feet touched by Rupa and Sanatana Goswami. Very interesting. Then Srila Prabhupada makes some very strong statements here, following the purport that we read last week about sometimes there are persons who are in the dress of Vaishnavas and are wearing tilak and kanti beads, but in actuality, they're Kali Chela. What is that word? Kali Chela. Kali Chela. What does Chela mean?
Usually a disciple.
Servant?
What is that? Disciple?
No, servant, I say.
Disciple in a good, in the good meaning of the word, but
Is there another meaning?
I think this chela is not the good chela.
Chela is something like a minion or something like that. Minion, yeah. Bootlicker, something. Kali Chela. So we should be warned that we should not be just wearing tilak and kanti beads, but not be able to congratulate devotees who are making progress in Krishna consciousness and doing devotional service wonderfully for the Lord. That's the nature of the actually person who's advancing in Krishna consciousness. We say that there's two kinds of insects, the honeybee and the fly. The honeybee goes for the nectar, and the fly usually it congregates around stool or go around the sores of the body like that. So similarly, the real Vaishnava generally looks at and finds the transcendental good qualities in a person and in a devotee or aspiring devotee and recognizes and magnifies those. And they may have to point out some deficiency once in a while, but not as a regular thing unless requested. So that Kali, we have to avoid being Kali Chela as by recognizing and encouraging devotees, Vaishnavas who are doing valuable service to spread the Krishna consciousness movement. I'm not sure what Srila Prabhupada is she's talking about here when he talks about the acharya, who you can't become an acharya by votes of mundane people. Would anybody like to comment on that? Or high court decision? Krishna Kirtan Prabhu, Acharya Prabhu?
Yeah, thank you. It's a very straightforward statement is given. Generally nowadays it's culture of democracy.
Yes.
And we try to apply in Vaishnava society also the democracy philosophy. It can be very dangerous. The democracy, it has to be supported by Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. It has to be, and without knowing, Shastra, it's that just elect a person based on the democracy or make a decision based on the democracy. That could be very dangerous.
Yes. Thank you. Acharya Prabhu, if you'd like to say something.
No, nothing really to add here.
Okay, thank you. I just thought I'd check. Learned person. So my thinking,
I
even
have-
though, go
I
ahead.
have one more actually. Yeah, that I
Okay, I'm sorry, I
spoke
cut you off
about.
perhaps.
Yeah, but many times a Kalichala, we may not know that one is a Kalichala, right? Because we may not know. Maybe the intentions will be, one who knows, they can understand from one's intention, but the person who acts as a Kalichala may not know that, but maybe thinking, oh, this is what is Vaishnavism. And unfortunately, last night itself I was addressing with some of the devotees how important it is in a Vaishnava society to practice proper etiquette and learn for our individual and collective growth in spiritual life. Otherwise, everyone will get stuck if no proper etiquette is not practiced. So Kalichala means by the name of Vaishnava, progressing in Vaishnavism, basically we are, one can serve the Kali, and it can have adverse effect.
Yes, we're just increasing the influence of those persons are increasing the influence of Kali Yuga instead of the influence of Lord Chaitanya.
Yeah. My thought is, learning. Nowadays we are practicing bhakti just coming randomly from our, a materialistic world, and we bring all these impressions to the society, and we continue that. This is what it is, life and corporate philosophy, corporate standards like that. But here Rupa and Sanatana Goswami, even though they were kind of a big corporation, but they're following proper etiquette when they're with Vaishnavas.
Yeah, good point. And so when we say follow proper etiquette, the backside of that, the other side is if we're not, then there's danger of offenses to Krishna and to the Vaishnavas, and that those are impediments to making progress.
Yeah.
So certainly, and another point you were talking, which was a good point, you said that it's very difficult to understand the mentality of persons when what their interest is and what their intention is in their aspects of devotional service, because we can't see the internal workings of the person's heart or their mind. So, but Srila Prabhupada makes it he makes it a little bit clear there that he says that that kind of pseudo Vaishnava, the Kalitela, as he said, is you can see because their interest is to get more money and women, or it means the opposite sex, getting some admiration from the opposite sex. That's
Yeah.
their strong motivation. And you'll see that inside or outside. That's what goes on. Because a person actually making progress in Krishna consciousness, the interest in material wealth for oneself, and getting adulation or undue affection from other people, especially the opposite sex, is those things go down. That's one of the tests of making progress in Krishna consciousness. So that might be a sign of not being a Kalichela, of not seeking that kind of adulation or monetary stability for oneself. Then the part about the mundane votes, and this is, I don't know, because Srila Prabhupada doesn't elaborate on that. But of course, many of you know that in the Gaudiya Math, after Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur passed, there were two major camps that developed, and there was a disagreement about who was the subsequent Acharya in the Gaudiya Math. Now, Srila Prabhupada says that Srila Bhaktisiddhanta did not appoint or did not recognize anybody as a subsequent Acharya. And he said that if there was somebody who was qualified, he would have said so, but he didn't see anybody qualified. So he requested that his disciples, sannyasis, etc., they work together and form a governing body commission to further the mission of the Gaudiya Math, the preaching mission. However, after Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur left, two camps formed, each one claiming to be the real Acharya. And each camp actually claimed that they had been appointed by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Even to this day, they say the same thing. If you go, they have their websites to this day. And then there was a battle in court about who was the real Acharya, who was the real inheritor of the properties and paraphernalia of the Gaudiya Math. And that went on for many years without much resolution. And so there was a détente. One group took charge of the Caitanya Math in Mayapur. The other group took charge of the Bagmazar Math in Calcutta, and then they went on their way. But anyway, it wouldn't have been resolved. But even if the court had decided one way or the other, it wouldn't have necessarily resolved anything anyway, because, as Prabhupada says, that mundane votes have no jurisdiction. Who can recognize an Acharya? Not possible. So this particular statement about your Vaishnava Acharyas are not elected, but are self-effulgent, was also a major consideration after Srila Prabhupada's departure. Because some argued that Srila Prabhupada didn't really appoint anybody to be subsequent Acharyas, and those people who had been established as subsequent Acharyas were done so by voting of the GBC, Governing Body Commission. And of course, you could say, well, those people weren't mundane votes.
Right.
But still they were votes. And Srila Prabhupada's emphasis was that the Vaishnava Acharya is self-effulgent and not elected by court judgment or mundane votes. Does that make sense? Anyway, important point. What do you think?
The GBC members electing is, even though it appears like a vote, but their analysis based on their practice, reference to sastras and what they observe, that definitely makes one has to make a decision on that. But otherwise, not just because based on the numbers, then it can be dangerous. If without genuine support, or just because this person favors me and I will vote for him. Like that kind of, then GBC also can be disaster and whole society can be in chaos. Because whole system ISKCON relies on the purity of GBC members also. Leaders are truthful and pure, then the society also can follow. That's what I understand. So basically, yeah, some decision has to be made, but based on Guru Sadhu Shastra also, they must be making that call. Okay, yes, this person is qualified or not.
Acharya Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Personally, I'm a big fan of democracy, and I actually want to see it instituted even more in ISKCON. But specifically about the issue of selecting gurus by democratic vote, by any kind of objective standard, that was kind of a failure. If you look at the results of those votes and how many of them turned out to actually be good decisions. So I think there's a big place for democracy in voting, but there are also places where it's turned out really badly, I think.
Yeah, good point. Good point. Thank you. Thank you for that. Others? No. So actually, the current system in ISKCON nowadays is not to vote. You know this? How a person is recognized as an acharya or guru, not acharya, but guru, is there's no objection is given. Person suggests, and if there's no objections, then they say okay, but they're not. It's not like somebody's campaigning to be the president of the United States and they have all their, I mean, they pay for their propagandists and no, not at all, not like that. That's changed from the early days. Trying to be more in line with this point that Srila Prabhupada's making here in the purport. So last time also there was the Srila Prabhupada made a statement in the purport about if a person is a jealous person in the dress of a Vaishnav, even in the Hare Krishna movement, then they should be neglected. So somebody asked the question, well, how does that happen? What do you neglect? How do you neglect? And so I was trying to think about it over the last week, and I thought there was one time when it occurred very dramatically within ISKCON. Is about 1970. Srila Prabhupada was on the West Coast, and it was the Rath Yatra, and the devotees, apparently to shield Srila Prabhupada because there were some threats of by some quarter of physical violence or something, they told Prabhupada he couldn't ride on the Rath Yatra cart. You know this? And then there was also, he saw that they had printed his name improperly on the books that were being printed. And also someone had put salt in the Caritamrita to get Srila Prabhupada's attention. So a few of these things happened. And you know what Srila Prabhupada did?
Neglected.
Yes. And how did he neglect? How did he neglect? he left. He left. He immediately he went to Tamal Krishna Maharaj and said, "Let's get out of here." He left and he went to India actually, and then shortly thereafter, he uh, there was a Janmashtami celebration in New Vrindavan, and it seems that impersonal philosophy had come forward in ISKCON. And when it got to Srila Prabhupada, he said he knew that that was going on. So part of impersonal philosophy is, okay, we're everybody is God. And so, there might be a spiritual master, but when you become a little bit elevated, you could also you'll take over the position of the spiritual master. Srila Prabhupada gave the example of, taking a ladder and to get up to, say, the roof of a building. And as soon as you're up there, you kick the ladder away. So the spiritual master is like that. Well, you go up, or the bhakti is like that. You go up to the high position and kick away. You don't need anymore. Become independent. The Srila Prabhupada acted very strongly. And he actually kicked several devotees out of ISKCON temporarily because of that misunderstanding and apparent jealousy of his position. Pretty strong, pretty strong. Contrasting that with he dealt with some god brothers who were also I mentioned last time had prevented ISKCON from purchasing property, but he was different in dealing with his god brothers than dealing with his disciples. He was very strong with his disciples. Questions, comments on that?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Shashi Shikha, Prabhu.
Yes, Hare Krishna. Thank you, Vishnugada, Prabhu. So I'm trying to understand this and get a practical perspective. So in the purport, it's saying the jealous person, the dress of a Vaishnav, is not at all happy to see the success of another Vaishnav. So from what I understand here, that we could see that there are jealous people in the dress of Vaishnavs. How can we, as those who are within trying to understand the movement, differentiate those who are Kali Chelas and not Kali Chelas without being or appearing jealous of people within the movement? For example, like many of those who are successful in the movement are successful because in a lot of ways they're like good with money, or they're able to further large programs, or they have a lot of people around them. But those are the same people in a lot of ways that are associating, like there's women around them, there's money around them. So that might, if you were to just take the thing that anyone who's kind of involved with women and money, so to speak, is a Kali Chela, then we would have to not associate with so many devotees within the movement nowadays. So what I'm just trying to understand how to differentiate for our own perspective without creating offenses, those who are in this category in the movement.
Yeah,
like
it's a good question. And my initial response would be, you have to be very careful about it. We can say, ISKCON, we need Lakshmi to put on all different kinds of programs. But of course, that's Lakshmi for Krishna service. Srila Prabhupada would accept donations of large amounts of money, all in Krishna service. But we have to study it carefully. And is there a diversion to, wanting amenities for one's own comfort and satisfaction, or does one take all kinds of donations in Krishna service and live a relatively austere life, following the regulations of Krishna consciousness, rising early, chanting 16 rounds, following the 4 regulative principles? And or is it start to become a method to aggrandize or to make one increase one's own material comforts? That we have to study that carefully because that's how we ourselves can get into trouble, and other people will get into trouble. And it does happen, of course. This is the material world. It's not unusual that people have get carried away by all those kinds of allurements. So then we study it carefully from ourselves, and we can also consider what others say. We can other devotees, see what they say. It's not that we're going to be on a fault-finding mission, but just like anything, one has to be cautious in one's dealings.
Shishikar Prabhu brought a good point, a practical thing, because many times a new devotee it's very hard for them to understand, who I should associate, who I should not associate, are they I think my understanding is accepting a spiritual authority in our where we practice is very important, because they can help in clearing some of the things. Even the one is initiated, from far, the spiritual master is far, but being able local authority to discuss with him or her is very crucial for one's clearing, rather than trying by themselves. If they have anything, so they can listen and ask justification and everything. Just my point.
Good point. Acharya Prabhu, you have anything to add, you might like to add? Or maybe he's busy now. It's a good
Hare
question.
Krishna Prabhu.
Yes, Mother Shobha Radhe.
Yeah, it's very easy if you were saying that if they're using it for their own comforts and stuff like that, it's black and white. It's easier to figure out who to associate with, who not to associate with. But if they are not using it for their own personal comfort, but the difference is in, shall we take this route to reach our goal, or that route to reach our goal, then it becomes a little bit more difficult. I'm just, going further with Sashi Shekhar Prabhu's question. I mean, how do you decide? And I hear you and Vishnu Kirtan Prabhu saying we should get guidance and we have to be careful. For me personally, if I'm not feeling intelligent enough to figure this out. What else can we do? How else to go about it?
That's part of that's what it is in the world. We always have to make discriminations about those things. It's an ongoing thing. And time will tell. Time will tell. Yeah. Have I been fooled? Many times. Many times I've been fooled about, who's a good person to associate with, and I'm so. But time shows up. Just as long as one doesn't become entangled in Kali Chela type activities on the coattails of someone who is going in that direction. Keeping in mind our own vows of Krishna consciousness, those are, not negotiable. Those are important things. Krishna will help you. Krishna will help us. Lord Krishna, Lord Chaitanya, they're invested in this Krishna consciousness movement, and they will help rectify things. We have to be patient sometimes. If things get a little off course here or there, because of various things. And I don't know if that helps at all. I don't know.
Patience, I guess. Time will tell.
Yeah.
That is the hardest part.
Yeah. I mean, there's many things that's occurred in ISKCON. There was a whole continent where, you know, it became the example for all of ISKCON about how things should be done. This was back in the early 80s, 1980s. And why was it the example? Well, because they were making lots of money. They were selling paintings and, you know, collecting large amounts of money and so on. But it collapsed. There was an excessive emphasis on the money part here. So it happens. It happens. Couldn't see that immediately. It took a few years, but then it became obvious. I know others have some comment on this.
What I'm thinking from this is that just the tilak and kanti beads are not enough to be a Vaishnav. And a big responsibility lies on us as individuals who want to be considered as a Vaishnav. And a bigger responsibility, I think, lies in a movement like ours. It lies with those persons who are advanced either in their administrative positions or spiritually to really be on this path of pure devotion without any distractions. That's what I think.
Well said. Well said. I appreciate that. Very nicely said. Okay. Let's go to the next verse. Yes.
সবাপাশ আজ্ঞা মাগি চলন সময় প্রভু পদে কহে কিছু করিয়া বিনয়.
After begging the permission of all the Vaishnavas present, the two brothers, at the time of their departure, humbly submitted something at the lotus feet of the Lord. They said, "Is it okay if we leave?" All right.
ইহা হইতে চলো প্রভু, ইহা নাহি কাজ, যদ্যপি তোমারে ভক্তি করে গৌর রাজ.
They said, "Dear Lord, although the King of Bengal, Nawab Hussain Shah, is very respectful toward you, you have no other business here. Kindly depart from this place."
তথাপি যবন জাতি না করি প্রতীতি, তীর্থযাত্রায় এত সংঘট্ট ভালো নহে রীতি.
Although the king is respectful toward you, he still belongs to the Jabana class and should not be believed. We think that there is no need for such a great crowd to accompany you on your pilgrimage to Vrindavan.
যার সঙ্গে চলে এই লক্ষ কোটি বৃন্দাবন যাত্রার এ নহে পরিপাটি.
Dear Lord, you are going to Vrindavan with hundreds and thousands of people following you. And this is not a fitting way to go on pilgrimage. Purport. Sometimes for business purposes, large crowds of men are taken to different places of pilgrimage and money is collected from them. That is a very lucrative business, but Rupa and Sanatana Goswamis, expressing their opinion in the presence of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, disapproved of such crowded pilgrimages. Actually, when Lord Chaitanya visited Vrindavan, he visited alone and accepted a servant only at his devotees' request. He never visited Vrindavan with crowds of people for a commercial purpose.
This is
Oh yeah, this is Sanskrit. Jajjapi Vashtuta Prabhura Kichu Nahi Bhoy.
no, it's Bengali. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's Bengali.
যদ্যপি বস্তুতঃ প্রভুর কিছু নাহি ভয়, তথাপি লৌকিক লীলা লোক চেষ্টাময়।
Although Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was Krishna himself, the Supreme Lord, and was therefore not at all fearful, he still acted like a human being to teach neophytes how to act.
এত বলি চরণ বন্দি গেলা দুইজন, প্রভুর সেই গ্রাম হইতে চলিতে হইল মন।
Having spoken thus, the two brothers offered prayers to the lotus feet of the Lord and returned to their homes. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then desired to leave that village. So this is very interesting. So Rupa and Sanatan, even though this was their first actual meeting of Lord Chaitanya with Lord Chaitanya, and they accepted his initiation from him, still they gave him a little advice. Isn't that interesting?
প্রাতে চলি আইলা প্রভু কানাইর নাটশালা, দেখিল সকল তাহা কৃষ্ণ চরিত্র লীলা।
In the morning, the Lord left and went to a place known as Kanai Natashala. While there, he saw many pastimes of Lord Krishna. In those days in Bengal, there were many places known as Kanai Natashala, where pictures of the pastimes of Lord Krishna were kept. People used to go there to see them. This is called Krishna Charitra Leela. In Bengal, there are still many places called Harishabha, which indicates a place where the local people gather to chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra and discuss the pastimes of Lord Krishna. The word Kanai means Lord Krishna, and Natashala indicates a place where pastimes are demonstrated. So those places which are at the present moment are called Harishabha, may previously have been known as Kanai Natashala. This is could be the impetus for within the Gaudiya Math, one of the things that was popular and that was instituted by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur were during the Mayapur Parikrama or Navadvip Parikrama, they would have dioramas of the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya displayed, and people could see them. So when Srila Prabhupada first began the construction in Mayapur for the temple Mayapur Chandaroy Mandir, he also requested that devotees come and learn this art of making dioramas of the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya and Lord Krishna for display in the temples there, like at Kanai Natashala. So where is this Kanai Natashala? Where is it? That's why I wanted the map of the states of India. So earlier and previously, Srila Prabhupada mentioned it was about 200 miles from Calcutta.
Should I bring that up? Should I bring
If
up
you can, yeah, sure. 200 miles from Calcutta. Can we open and make it big? Yeah. There. Yeah. We don't see any towns, that's okay. But so Navadvip is, see where Calcutta is. If you go about north of Calcutta, about 90 miles north, that's where Navadvip is, along the border of Bengal, West Bengal and Bangladesh. Yeah. And then if you go another, say 100 miles, you'll see that point where West Bengal becomes very thin. You see that point? Yeah. That's where Ramkeli was, where Lord Chaitanya met Rupa and Sanatan Goswami, right in that area. There's also a place that's called Malda is there in that area nearby. So then if you go directly west, just a little bit there, yeah, a little bit there, a little bit closer to Bengal, yeah. That's where Kanai Natashala is. So now it's in Jharkhand, but at that time it was all part of Bengal. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the morning, he got up and then they went to Kanai Natashala. And when we see what'll happen in the evening. I just wanted to show that because, so one of you may one day want to go to Kanai Natashala, and just it makes things a little more realistic when you see, oh, this is how Lord Chaitanya went. First he was there in Navadvip. He went north from Navadvip to Ramkeli, then west to Kanai Natashala there in Jharkhand. Now that place of Kanai Natashala is, the railway station is called Taljhari, Taljhari. Taljhari. It's about 2 miles from Kanai Natashala, Taljhari, and it's in the Sahibganj district of Jharkhand. In India, the counties are called districts. So that district is right next to West Bengal, Sahibganj, where Kanai Natashala is. Thank you.
Actually, this meaning is for this Kanai Natashala, where Kanaya is to dance or something like that. But
That means Krishna is dancing?
Krishna, Natashala.
Natashala.
Yeah.
Natashala. Natashala. I'm saying it wrong, yeah. Natashala.
Natashala.
Yeah.
It's kind of his dancing place.
Nritya is
With
that
gopis.
Mother Vindhyavali. This would probably be drama, play, acting.
Natashala. Natashala.
Natashala is also like that, also drama also. But usually Kanaya never did dramas, no? He did he usually gopis with dancing. Is that right? That's what I thought so.
Okay. Yeah. Not mentioned here. Let's do a few more.
সেই রাত্রে প্রভু তাহা চিন্তে মনে মন সঙ্গে সংঘট্ট ভালো নহে কইল সনাতন.
That night, the Lord considered Sanatana Goswami's proposal that he should not go to Vrindavan followed by so many people.
মথুরা যাইব আমি এত লোক সঙ্গে কিছু সুখ না পাইব হবে রস ভঙ্গে.
The Lord thought, if I go to Mathura with such crowds behind me, it would not be a very happy situation, for the atmosphere would be disturbed. Report, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu confirms that visiting a holy place like Vrindavan with so many people is simply disturbing. He would not find the happiness he desired by visiting such holy places in that way.
একাকী যাইব কিংবা সঙ্গে একজন তবে সে শোভয় বৃন্দাবনেরে গমন.
The Lord concluded that he would go alone to Vrindavan, or at most would take only one person as his companion. In that way, going to Vrindavan would be very pleasant.
এত চিন্তি প্রাতকালে গঙ্গা স্নান করি নীলাচলে যাব বলি চলিলা গৌর হরি.
Thinking like this, the Lord took his morning bath in the Ganges and started for Nilachal, saying, I shall go there. Nilachal is Jagannath Puri, right?
এই মতো চলি চলি আইলা শান্তিপুরে দিন ৫-৭ রহিলা আচার্যের ঘরে.
Walking and walking, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu arrived at Shantipur and remained at the house of Advaita Acharya for 5 to 7 days.
শচী দেবী আনি তারে কইল নমস্কার ৭ দিন তার ঠাঁই ভিক্ষা ব্যবহার.
Taking this opportunity, Sri Advaita Acharya Prabhu sent for Mother Sachi Devi, and she remained at his house for 7 days to prepare the meals for Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
তার আজ্ঞা লয়া পুনঃ করিলা গমনে বিনয় করিয়া বিদায় দিল ভক্তগণে.
Taking permission from his mother, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then started for Jagannath Puri. When the devotees followed him, he humbly begged them to remain and bade them all farewell.
জনা দুই সঙ্গে আমি যাব নীলাচলে, আমারে মিলিবা আসি রথযাত্রা কালে।
Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, although requesting all the devotees to go back, allowed two people to follow him. He requested all the devotees to come to Jagannath Puri and meet him during the car festival.
বলভদ্র ভট্টাচার্য আর পণ্ডিত দামোদর দুইজন সঙ্গে প্রভু আইলা নীলাচল।
The two persons who accompanied Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to Jagannath Puri, Nilachal, were Balabhadra Bhattacharya and Damodar Pandit.
দিন কত তাহা রহি চলিলা বৃন্দাবন, লুকায়া চলিলা রাত্রে না জানে কোনো জন।
After remaining at Jagannath Puri for a few days, the Lord secretly started for Vrindavan at night. He did this without anyone's knowledge.
বলভদ্র ভট্টাচার্য রহে মাত্র সঙ্গে, ঝাড়িখণ্ড পথে কাশী আইলা মহারঙ্গে।
When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu left Jagannath Puri for Vrindavan, only Balabhadra Bhattacharya was with him. Thus he traveled on the path through Jharkhand and arrived in Benares, Varanasi, with great delight. Okay, Hare Krishna. We'll stop here. Comments or observations?
This is this is the second time. Did he go to Vrindavan or no? Or this is a Narsingha, what is it? He meditated that Lord Chaitanya is not going to go to Vrindavan, right? This is the one?
Yes. He went to he went to Kanai Natashala and then he turned around. And previously we read that Vishnugada Brahmachari was meditating on his path, Lord Chaitanya's path to Vrindavan, and in his mind making it very beautiful with all kinds of opulent, beautiful environment there. But then he couldn't imagine in his mind anything past Kanai Natashala.
So he didn't go to Vrindavan. He went to Jagannath.
This time, no. Yeah. So he first tried to go to Vrindavan right after he took sannyas.
Right.
But he was he had a detour by Nityananda Prabhu and went to Advaita Acharya's house. And then Mother Sachi requested he to go to Puri. That was his first house. So this is his. So then he went to South India, 2 years in South India. Then after coming back, he was at the Ratha Yatra. Then he made his first attempt, or actually it would be second, to go to Vrindavan, but through Bengal. And on his way through Bengal, he went north all the way to Ramkeli, where he met Jagannath, Rupa and Sanatan Goswamis. And he said at that time, people were wondering why I came to Bengal, but it was only to see you, he said. So then, shortly thereafter, he was going west, but then stopped at Kanai Natashala, and turned around and came back. I don't know what he told the people. There were thousands of people with him. He said, okay, we're going back. Sorry. I don't know. It doesn't say.
So did Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went only once to Vrindavan?
Yes.
Wow.
Anything else? Okay, thank you so much. Today is Ekadashi. What was that?
I have one question. I remember last time we were reading that he went to Jagannath Puri with 4 disciples, Mukunda Das, Jagdanand, Nityanand, I think one more, Advaita Acharya, I think.
No, the Advaita stayed back, yeah. But that was the time he went to Puri right after taking sannyas. So
Okay.
he took sannyas. He was in Navadvip. He went to Katwa to take sannyas, which is about, I don't know, 40 miles northwest of Navadvip. So then after he took sannyas, he was planned to go to Vrindavan, but Nityananda Prabhu misdirected him to go along the Ganges, saying it was Jamuna. Then he came to Advaita Acharya's house. And then from there, he went to Puri. First time to Puri that we know. And that's when those 4 devotees went with him. So this is the
Okay.
second time he's going from Bengal to Puri.
So from Natshala, he is going back to Jagannath Puri
Yes,
second time.
but
Okay.
he came again through Advaita Acharya's house. He came he came back through as mentioned just before. He went back through Shantipur, which is Advaita Acharya's house, and Mother Sachi was called, come do some service.
Okay, so he going to Vrindavan once so far, once.
He hasn't
And-
gone, in the chronology we're having, he hasn't gone to Vrindavan yet. At least, so
Oh, okay.
that's coming up. So one of the reasons he's bringing Balabhadra Bhattacharya with him is because that's the person who's going to go with him to Vrindavan.
Okay, so he went to South India tour and Jagannath Puri, and now he's going to go to Vrindavan.
Yes,
Vrindavan back to Jagannath Puri, right? That's what later.
yes. So he's going to, on his way to Vrindavan, he's going to stop at Benares, and then he'll see, then he'll have some interactions there. Then he goes to Vrindavan. On his way back, he'll stop at Allahabad and then Benares, and then go through the jungle again to Puri.
Oh, okay, and Jharkhand, has he gone to Jharkhand yet, or he's going to go now? Jharkhand.
Yeah, when he goes to Vrindavan in the middle of the night when he leaves, really early in the morning, he's going to go through the jungle of Jharkhand, and that's where he induces the elephants and tigers and deer and all these kinds of animals to chant the holy names.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much. Very
Sure.
clear. Hare Krishna.
Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripasindhubhye cha patitanam pavanebhyo.
Yo Vaishnavebhyo Namo
Mm.
Vaishnavebhyo namo
So
namaha.
I'm trying not to be Kali Chela, so hopefully we can avoid being Kali. We're all Kali Chelas, that's where we came from, right? Now we're trying to go the other direction, so let's pray to Lord Caitanya and Srila Prabhupada to help us in that way. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.